Hey guys, Tyler from Righteous Gaming here. Thanks for taking time to watch the video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Our next goal is to get 2,000 subscribers. So, yesterday, LSS revealed their newest set, SummerSlam, and boy, is it pretty exciting. So, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. First, my initial thoughts on SummerSlam. I think it's really cool. I love the set. I love the fact that we're going back to all melee damage. I think it's really cool to flash back to not only Deathmatch Arena, but to Welcome to Wraith and giving two underserved classes support that they needed. I love the theme about it. I love the two talents, how some heroes want to be cheered on, some heroes want to be booed. I think that's kind of like what it feels like in life too. Sometimes you're the underdog, sometimes you're the favorite. But at the end of the day, it's all about stepping into the ring, fighting, and seeing who comes out on top. So I know that LSS has had a long history with wrestling-inspired cards, and now we finally have a wrestling-inspired set. I know that James White, Alan Hale, who's second in charge, I know that they have been wrestling fans. They've said in multiple interviews that they love wrestling. Back in the day, if you look at some of the early interviews from Crucible of War, from Welcome to Wraith days, they talked about how some of the cards were inspired by wrestling. We got Chokeslam, among others. And so it's only about time that we get a set that's themed around wrestling, and I couldn't be more excited about it. It looks really sweet. However, I have noticed that there has been a mixed reviews from people online, from the Flesh and Blood community. I wanted to talk about that real quick. I think that not every set is for everybody in the Flesh and Blood community. You're not going to love every set, and if this set isn't for you, that's okay. Just skip it. You don't have to buy the cards. You don't have to play the heroes. You could go play your pre-releases. You could go play the limited events, but don't continuously post publicly online about it. Don't post all your negativity on the LSS social media channels. If you have any feedback about the set, just message LSS. If it's not your thing, great. The more that we post publicly our negativity about sets, the more people, new players might see it, older players might see it, and the more negative press that Flesh and Blood gets, and we don't want that. So if you're going to talk about the set in a negative way online, please don't. Please keep it positive. I noticed on some of the LSS social media channels, on Facebook, people were commenting that they weren't a fan of it. They didn't like the cartoony art, and that's okay. Not every set's for everyone. I haven't been a fan of some of the sets that they've produced, but I've been a fan of other sets they've produced. And so not every set's going to be in everyone's interest, So that's just what I wanted to say about that. Just keep the complaining to a minimum about the set, because there are a lot of people who really love the set, including me. And we're really looking forward to it, and it's about time we got more Brute, more Guardian support, even though there is a Mastery Pack coming out. I think that this set's going to be very fun to play, and so I'm pretty excited about it. And besides, next year we got Return to Monarch. We're going to have more Light, Shadow support, and so there's going to be more stuff coming in the future that's for different types of people, for a different crowd. And so overall, I think it's a great set, a great looking set. But let's dive into some of the specifics. I wanted to point out a couple of things that I really liked about the announcement yesterday. And so the first, I just want to talk about a little bit about what I got right. I got most things wrong. Most of my predictions are wrong. I thought it was going to be Shadow, Chaos, but I did say that it was going to be like a Rosetta-like set before heroes, 2 talents, 2 classes. I did get that one right. And I got right that there was going to be Brute. I didn't know it was going to be Guardian. Makes sense though, since Guardian's getting a bunch of support with the Mastery Pack to come out with a couple more Guardians. People getting into the game with the Mastery Pack, picking Guardian, getting a bunch of Guardian cards, and now there's a set for you. There's the Guardian class is getting support. So you can go from the Mastery Pack to a mainline Flesh and Blood set. It's a great new player ramp for the summer to the fall to get more cards in players' hands, get more cards in their collection so they can build up the cards they have for a specific class. I think that's pretty cool. 4 heroes, Tough Nut, KO, Pleiades, and Lyath, 2 Guardian, 2 Brute. They're reviled and revered. You know, two of the heroes are well loved and two of the heroes are hated, but that makes them get stronger. You know, the lore behind that's really cool. You know how you get buffs for being hated, and I think some people like to play that villain, that the character that people like to hate. You know, and the character just gets stronger through adversity, and I think that's a cool thematic lore. And some people love to be cheered on. Some people love to be respected, and those heroes get stronger when they're cheered. And so I think that's really cool. That's really cool to me. Tough Nut Rock has been going crazy on the marketplace. You know, all the rocks got bought out on TCG Player. It's finally a way to pitch for Rock and fulfilling its requirements. And so if you're looking to pick up Rock, just wait a while. You know, it ballooned to $15 for a non-foil on TCG, but it was absolutely ridiculous. It'll go back down to under $5 in a couple of weeks. The Marvel might be a little bit slower because there are going to be less copies on the marketplace, but I know that people have been waiting for Rock a long time. And so there are going to be a lot of copies that come flood to the marketplace over the next couple of weeks. And so just wait, just be patient when buying cards for the new heroes. Cards will go down in price over the next couple weeks. We're experiencing a spike, and the cards that have spiked are going to go right back down in price as more copies get filled. We saw this with High Seas, we saw this with Hunted. It's just a common trend among sets. And so buy the cards in a couple weeks if you think they're going to be playable, the new heroes, before we get to spoiler season. So plenty of time to wait for these. But 3 Intellect, I think that's really cool. It's a cool design space. You know, he kind of gets a 4th card off the top of his deck to pitch, but it's not in his hand, so he can't block with it. But he gets access to that card off the top of his deck. And so I think it's a great design space that LSS is trying with this 3 Intellect CC hero. You know, we have yet to see what initial deck lists are coming out to be. There's been a lot of chatter about having 60 blues, your deck list, having this hero just be a block out hero. You know, you can block for 9, send 7. That's a big swing, but like, there's a lot of nuances with this hero that we have yet to see. We've yet to see the legendaries, see the equipment, and so I think this hero is just a wait and see type hero. We got KO. He starts with 1 weapon zone. That's what I wanted to point out about him. And the old KO that we got in the first heavy hitter set said that you have 1 equipment zone. However, this KO says you start the game with 1 equipment zone. So can you gain equipment throughout the game? Can you put equipment into your deck? Does he find equipment like chairs, tables, you know, clubs, things that he can hit people with? Maybe equipment that have like 1 or 2 time use, things that he can find as he's playing. Is he going to have a demi hero that's going to upgrade him? Maybe have a bionicle arm so that he can have two weapons. You know, it's just a lot. I think that text leaves it open for a lot of potential design space that LSS has yet to show us. And so right now, the one hand, you know, Mandible Claw, kind of similar to the other KO that we have, and so I think that this is going to allow them to build a interesting differentiation between the KO we currently have and the KO that's coming. Pleiades, if you Google it, means 7 sisters. It's constellation. I think she has great art. She's really cool, lots of cool colors. I think it's going to be a popular hero for new players to get into because she just looks really cool. She has like a guitar looking thing. We'll see what that does. And she's going to be the Aura hero, Aura of Suspense. We don't really know what that is. Suspense is probably going to be keeping a way to keep auras on the field for multiple turns, kind of like an illusionist. But with the suspense counters, so you can destroy it or you can remove a suspense counter, it stays around. So be looking to see more auras in this set. And so it gives you a potential to be a combo with a bunch of auras on the field, you know, like a big Towering Titan type build. Or is it going to be more of a defensive heavy build, which is going to be blocking a lot with more of like a Forged for War, Nerves of Steel type thing. So we have yet to see. But it's cool design space. We've got a lot of Guardian auras in the past, and there hasn't been much play with them. So hopefully Pleiades changes the fact that we can now start to play with the Guardian auras that we've had in our collections for a while. Ever since Welcome to Wraith, we've had Guardian auras. And so pretty cool hero. Definitely going to be a fan favorite of the set. We'll see. I think she's the most likely to be playable out of the set, in my opinion. But we'll see when more stuff is announced for the set. And finally, Lyath, 5 intellect. Again, they're playing with the intellect here. They're testing new things. His attacks and defenses are halved, but that's just the base attack, the base defense of the items. And so, like Rampart, you can still block for 1 with it. Some of the temper cards only block for 1, though. The battle worn cards only block for 1 and then 1. And so we will see how that plays out with all of his equipment and everything and the cards that he has. But he's also going to be more of a combo deck, more of a Towering Titan build, more of a buff up a big attack type per game. Because you have 5 cards, you're going to run a lot of blues, you're going to run a lot of maybe some auras as well, kind of some overlap with Pleiades. And so there's a lot of cool design space with Lyath as well that we can expect to come in the future. And so overall, these 4 heroes looks pretty sick. They look pretty cool. A lot of interesting design elements with them. You can definitely tell that this is a set that LSS is experimenting with. We just had a banger set in High Seas. We're coming off a 3 hot set streak, with Rosetta, Hunted, and High Seas. And I think this is the perfect time to introduce a set where they're experimenting with new things. They're experimenting with the intellect, with the no weapons, bringing back super rares, which I'll talk about soon. So I think this is definitely an experimental set for them. And I think it's okay if it's not as popular as some of the other sets have been. They've been on a hot streak recently. They could use just a fun set that I think will attract a lot of new players before we go into 2026 with a new Monarch set and more mainline sets that the majority of people will be excited about. And so very exciting that they're trying new things. I'm all for them experimenting and trying new things. And so I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with this set. And so let's move on to the World Premiere. World Premiere looks awesome. I think the promos look really sick. They remind me of something from like Magic Secret Layers. They have the hero names on them, the kind of cool alternate art, and they're cold foil marvels. They're playable cards as well, charms. So I think it's cool that we have a great World Premiere promo. Last set, the World Premiere promo was just the Treasure Island, which is fine. It's great art, really cool art, but not as desired by players. And so now you get 1 of 4 of the charms in Marvel form. And so I think that's a great World Premiere promo. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to get my hands on some in Montreal. And I just love the art. I think it looks really cool. I'm all for them experimenting again with the art, different art styles. They've had bloody art, gory art. They've had angelic. They've had light art. They've had earthy art. They've had now they have more of a cartoony type of pop art type feel. I'm all for it. They can go in. Each set can be a different art style, and I'm fine with that. I think that it hits different sects of the player base. I think some players like this kind of stuff. Some players don't. Some players like the shadow and the light. Some people don't. Some people like the pirates. Some people passed on pirates. It's like there's each set is for someone, right? And so everyone has their thing. And so I personally love this art. So I'm going to probably be collecting the World Premiere promos. And amongst some other cards that we might see in the set as well. Set breakdown. I noticed that there are a lot more expansion slot cards. This time around, 31 expansion slot cards, multiple reprints. They're coming 1 in 6 packs for the expansion slot though. So the expansion slot, you have 4 cards in a booster box from the expansion slot. That's really cool. Multiple reprints. I'm guessing a couple legendaries, 3 or 4 or 5 maybe majestics, from the set. Maybe my guesses are I think Tunic gets another reprint here. Crown of Providence I believe gets a reprint here since it's been used historically by Guardians. Those are the 2 big ones in my opinion. And then I think Swing Big might get a reprint here. We might see another Command and Conquer, flashback to the Kasai one that they gave out during the Deathmatch Arena days for limited for heavy hitters. And just I think there's a lot of things that they can do with this, and so this should be making players happy. But there's also 31 cards in the expansion slot, so it's not going to completely tank the value of the cards currently. I love the way that they're doing reprints right now. Codex of Frailty went from $90 to $40, $45. Command and Conquer went from 100 down to like 70, 75. And so I love the way that they're not just completely tanking the value of the higher price cards, but they're also providing a way for more players to get access to them. And so I think that's great. We're bringing back super rares as well, so that's going to be another chase in the set. I mean, they'll probably be more common than Majestics, less common than rares. But there's a lot of them too. There was like 30, 40 of them in the set. So that's exciting as well. Some more cards to chase, some more cards to hit, more design options, more build options. Maybe the super rares are more for UPF or for limited, a way to get more powerful cards in limited. I'm pretty excited about that as well. I love the super rares. And then finally, pre-release kits. I think that's an awesome idea. Magic does these. It's a box set with the 9-card promo pack and the 8 booster packs. And so maybe we get some spice in these promo packs as well. They're random now. You don't know what's in the promo packs. If there's spice in the promo packs before, then stores could find them, could see them, players could see them, they could pick which one they want. But now, hopefully we get some cool promo cards in these pre-release packs that are in these pre-release kits. They mentioned you can take them home to play at home. You can keep them in stores. I think this just makes it, a lot of the stores that run pre-releases are newer stores, and maybe they haven't run a Flesh and Blood event before, but this is just simple. It's like Magic. You just give everyone a pre-release kit, and that's it. You can add additional price support if you want. The kits are $40. If you don't want to add price support, the kits are $40. If you do, you charge a little more, or you can the stores can decide to give out packs of free will as well. So I like them. I love them, actually. It's great for players, very easy for stores to use. I'm hoping that this sticks around in the future for stores as well. And maybe that's what they give out at like sealed events, sealed callings. Maybe they give out a pre-release kit as well. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. We'll see if they give out pre-release kits during like the world premiere, or sealed calling, sealed battle horn, stuff like that. But it's an easy way to do it, right? Easy way. Finally, they announced new Armory deck Pleiades. I think that's a great call out of the 4 heroes. Like I said, I think Pleiades is going to be one of the more popular heroes from the set. She has great art. The box art on the Armory deck looked great, and I think that it's going to be a big fan favorite. I'm expecting Pleiades to be more of a control style deck. We haven't had too many control style decks as Armory decks. We've had Jarl, but besides that, it offers a new play style for players. I think it's going to be pretty popular, and I'm glad that they chose her for this. And I love that they're releasing an Armory deck on release. So players that are getting into the game for the first time don't have to necessarily buy a bunch of packs to build a deck. They can just start with the Armory deck, and they can upgrade it over time with the cards they pull from packs, for buying and trading. And so I think that it's great. It's a great thing. I'm glad to see that LSS is continuing to do that as well. So in summary, I think this is a set that they're experimenting on, and I think that it's going to go over well. I think it's going to be well received. I think players are going to warm up to it really well. Love that they're playing with Intellect finally, and I love that they're playing with different limited formats of like no weapons, just melee. Brings us back to good old-fashioned Flesh and Blood, back to Welcome to Wraith days where it's just melee. We're just hitting each other. It's more of a math game than what some of the newer heroes have been proposing with allies and auras and different stuff like that. So I love that we're getting back to that before we hit next year, when we get a couple more complicated sets with the light and shadow sets and so on. And so I think it's overall exciting. I think it's great for the game. I think it's great for new players to get into the game as well. And just the theming and the lore behind it is great. So when I go play, I'm going to be bringing my Righteous Gaming table. I got my little table here. We're going to flip it when I lose, and I'm just going to have fun with it. And that's what I recommend for you guys to just have fun with the set. Even if it's not your thing, it's someone's thing. And that's all Flesh and Blood is for, right? Having fun. And so I think this is a great set to do that with. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, please join our Discord. We talk about all the announcements that happen. We talk about the market a lot. I give tips and secrets to help address the market. I do giveaways in there. I recently gave away a couple of the exclusive metal fab tokens from the U.S. Nationals. I gave a couple away from Taiwan as well. And hopefully sometime this summer we're going to be running a Project Blue tournament. I'm excited to announce. So get those deck lists ready. Join the server. It'll be a free tournament with a couple prizes to top players and a random giveaway as well. So we'd love to have you in the server. Finally join Finals Collection. I got a promo code in the description. Finals Collection is a great tool that you can use to track the value of your cards over time, track the market, build up a collection tracker to kind of see where you're at. I use it for buy, sell, and trading at all the events that I go to, and so it's a really cool tool, really cool resource that you can use. Use promo code Righteous to get your first month free on the premium subscription for it. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. And I might be quiet over the next couple of weeks. We got a baby coming probably in the next couple of days. And so we'll be quiet over the next couple of weeks, but I'm excited to get back to making videos and content. If you guys need anything, please reach out to me. I'll do my best to get cards shipped as quickly as possible. But like I said, right now we'll be slow on shipping things because of our life changes that are happening. But I appreciate you guys. Have a good day and enjoy this next set.